Let's take a journey back to 1831. The early saints of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints were filled with anticipation as they journeyed to Independence, Missouri. They had received a revelation from the Lord that this would be the place for the city of Zion, a holy place where the saints could gather in peace and unity. But what they found was far from the peaceful Zion they envisioned. Independence, Missouri was not a thriving city. It was a small frontier town, sparsely populated by rugged settlers who were not familiar with the saints' beliefs or practices. Instead of finding a supportive community of like-minded saints, they were faced with the harsh realities of frontier life: mud roads, harsh weather, and a small, unsettled population. The saints had come to establish Zion, but instead, they found themselves at the beginning of a long and difficult trial. As the saints struggled to establish themselves in this harsh environment, they were confronted with more than just physical challenges. There were social and political pressures as well. Many of the locals were openly hostile to the saints. In fact, just a year earlier, in 1830, tensions had begun to rise between the saints and the non-members in the area. Rumors and misunderstandings about the new religion spread, leading to feelings of fear and suspicion. Joseph Smith and the early leaders of the church faced great difficulties as they tried to organize the saints and build the infrastructure of Zion. But, despite the challenges, they were determined to follow the Lord's commands. They trusted that God had a purpose for them, even if they couldn't yet understand His design. In Doctrine and Covenants, section 58, verses 1-5, He told them, "Ye cannot behold with your natural eyes, for the present time, the design of your God, and the glory which shall follow after much tribulation." The Lord's words were clear. His plan would unfold, but it would come after a period of suffering. After much tribulation, come the blessings. This was not a message of despair, but a message of hope. Though the saints could not see the full picture, they were to trust in God's plan, even if they couldn't yet comprehend it. Within just a few years, the saints would be forced to leave Jackson County and wait for a little season for the redemption of Zion. But in the meantime, the Lord did not leave them without guidance. In Doctrine and Covenants, section 58, verses 26-29, He urged them to be anxiously engaged in a good cause, teaching that they were to act with intention and free will. Even in the face of persecution, they were to build Zion with their own hands, according to their faith and agency. In Doctrine and Covenants, section 59, verse 9-12, the Lord emphasized the importance of keeping the Sabbath day holy. In a place filled with hardship, the Sabbath would be their day of refuge and renewal. It was a day for the saints to gather together, to worship and to rest, helping them stay unspotted from the world and refocus on their ultimate goal of establishing Zion. For these early saints, the Sabbath was not just a commandment, but a lifeline, a reminder that despite their circumstances, they could still find peace and strength in the Lord's presence. Though they were driven out of Jackson County, their efforts to build Zion laid the foundation for future generations of saints to gather and build in other places. Their faith and perseverance in the face of adversity would eventually lead to the flourishing of Zion in different parts of the world. It is a part of God's greater design. Just as the early saints persevered and trusted in the Lord, we too can find strength in our own challenges. The Lord's promises are sure. After the tribulation, His blessings will follow. And like the early saints, we can trust that the trials we face will help us grow and prepare us for the blessings that God has in store for us. How can you trust in the Lord's design, even if you cannot see the full picture? How can you find peace and strength through your faith, agency, and obedience to His commandments? Remember, after much tribulation, come the blessings.